I'm Sean Myers of the Westmoreland Sports Network, now joined by JJ Eckles, who will be the new athletic director at Mount Pleasant area for the 24-25 school year, as he will take over this summer. And first off, congratulations, JJ. I know this has to be a very exciting time for you. So, what was your reaction now that you've been able to kind of digest all this of soon becoming the athletic director at Mount Pleasant area?
Oh man, it was complete joy. Can't be happier to be part of a community and an athletics program that's had so much success in the last couple of years in multiple different sports. And it's really just a pleasure to become a part of the Mount Pleasant community.
And I mentioned it's going to start in earnest for you this summer, starting in July. So there'll be a lot of preparation for the next school year, I would assume. But there's some training that's going to take place in the meantime for you to kind of get acclimated. So, what do the next few months look like for you?
So I'll be meeting with Mr. Gambita and Mr. Belinsky several times in the next, upcoming weeks and upcoming months, just to learn the ins and outs of how they've done things the last couple of years. And then picking it up in July, a lot more of that will fall upon my shoulders. And obviously they'll be there still, so I can, ask them every once in a while, hey, what have we done in the past in certain situations? So it's a very unique situation, having become an athletic director and now have the guys that were kind of the athletic director prior still working in the building, not far away.
Yeah, they have been kind of combining forces over the last couple of years, filling in, I guess, in a temporary or part-time role. It's been since 2022 since there's a full-time athletic director at Mount Pleasant area. When you do take over, what are some of the goals that you have, short-term and long-term?
I think short term wise, I would just like to enhance the student experience however I can after talking to some of the students, some of the parents, some of the boosters, enhance their participation in sports maybe, or just give them something that they're looking for within reason. That would be my goal. How to do that right now, just learning and starting to pick up in that progression of what we need or what we are lacking to make the best situation for our kids is not known to me. I need to learn that more. So that would be my number one short term goal. And then obviously, talking to the coaches, and I want to be able to evaluate them and have them feel like I'm there to help them. Number one, I want to make their jobs as easy as possible, whatever they need, things like that, so that I could go talk to the appropriate people to help provide them for, simple things and then maybe some more sophisticated projects that are more long term. And when you talk about long term projects, one of the things that Mount Pleasant does have that a lot of small schools don't are really nice facilities. I've been to thousands of high schools the last 10 years, and they do, for a small school, have great facilities. So I don't know that there needs to be major improvements long term, but maybe some different programs or things that the school hasn't had. I know flag football for women is a big one. I don't know if there's a need for that at Mount Pleasant, but there are, some things like that maybe long term that you could add to the athletic department.
Well, you'd mentioned you've been to a lot of high schools. I'm guessing that's part of your background as a college football coach. You spent about a decade at a few different places, including here in Westmoreland County at St. Vincent College. How does that background potentially translate and help you with this new role?
You know, I've never coached at the highest level. So one of the things at small school college football is that you always have other duties and they're never really explained to you until you're on the job. So I've done things from game day management to security to simply equipment, budgeting, recruiting. One of the major parts of recruiting was setting up hotels, travel, different meal times, busing. So there are a lot of different things that I've had to work and schedule in the past that do correlate to some things at high school when renting out field space. We always had to do that in college and correlate our times with other teams and make sure things were together. So there is some carryover there from the collegiate experience that I had as a football coach to now working in high schools. And it always helps to work with the largest organization on a college campus, which the last couple of places that I've been, the football team has, had about 140 kids, and you have support staff and coaches and everybody else that you have to get all together at certain times.
So you played football collegially before becoming a coach, but back in your high school days at McKeesport area, you played three sports. How does that background and knowing the ins and outs of various different sports potentially benefit?
I think just thinking as an athlete in different sports, what are the kids looking for? What are the coaches looking for? What are the expectations from the district in these different sports are all things that you can relate to if you've played that certain sport at a certain time in your life. So I've also officiated basketball in college. I umpired Little League Baseball up the Pony League when I was in high school and in college. So I've been on the other side of the coin too, and I know what it's like to be the official, like trying to get the parents away from that guy. And after the game, you're getting chased out of the gym, or the umpire's getting run down in the parking lot. So I think those experiences, having been in the shoes of not only the players, but also the officials, the coaches, on all aspects in an athletic sporting event are going to help me. Because experience, I think, is, one of the best things that you can have. And not having a ton as an AD, but having it in different sports will help me going forward.
So you talked about some of the aspects that make you maybe an attractive candidate why you ultimately landed this position. What was attractive about Mount Pleasant area in particular to you?
Honestly, I've worked with quite a few student athletes from Mount Pleasant while I was coaching. Jonas King, um, Peter at St. Vincent, Robbie Labuda as well at St. Vincent. So having coached those guys and knowing the type of kid that comes from the district, they might have been some of my favorite kids that I've ever worked with. So that being said, the type of people, obviously the district isn't close from where or isn't far from where I'm living now in Jeanette. And I really didn't want to move again. So the wife, now that we have three kids, was, kind of telling me, hey, why don't you look at some other things besides college coaching? I'm getting tired of moving around all over the place. And it just happened to be the perfect fit.
So I know you said you're already close by. Obviously, when you were at St. Vincent, you were just a handful of miles away from Mount Pleasant. But what is the message that you have to the people of that community, to the people in that district who maybe are unfamiliar with you as far as what you're going to bring?
I think the one thing that they could know about me is that I'm a really loyal person. I married my high school sweetheart. Two, that I'm dedicated and hardworking as well as loyal. And having gone through my entire life, never quitting anything is one of the things that I kind of hang my hat on. I've never been the absolute best at anything, but I've always given my maximum effort. So trying to figure out a way to get things done and ask for help when it's needed, I think are the things that I will do as the athletic director, and trying to just have everyone's in the communities put them first, and a little bit of selflessness.
Well, JJ, thank you so much for taking the time and doing this. And congratulations on once again being named the athletic director. We'll look forward to seeing you quite a bit going forward.
Thanks for having me, Sean. I really appreciate it.